And we're live on a Mars day. I am your hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil, messenger of God, child of God, the Lilith, reincarnated, here with another one. In order to keep up with me, you would have to catch what I put in my community page, which is I had posted that I was going to go do an offering to the spirit gods, and then I would come back and do a video about that. I do a lot of offerings, and in the beginning it was really funny. People used to like, who eats the shit you're leaving? I'm like, the fucking animals. Are you serious right now? What do you think? Some fucking ghost comes and eats this shit? No, they don't take form. But the spirit animals are a whole nother thing. And that's from many different cultures and stuff. So last week's teachings we were getting into, all kinds of spirit work. Necromancy, exorcisms, working with spirit guides, the patriarchy of what the spirit world looks like, what dimension you get into when you're doing these things. And then, of course, to top it off, today, Wolfman, before, in the middle of my day, just irritated my very fleshly being, trying to tell you about his workings with the spirit world. Again, they're just dark practices. He's just a practicer. I teach you guys, how did I get all of this? The same thing I teach you all the fucking time. You take off the flesh. You take off the ego. You take off the life. And then you walk in the spirit. There's no way around this. I mean, you can do whatever the fuck he's doing and do all this stupid shit. But if you want to have a true connection with spirit, you become the spirit. You can sit there and, ask for spiritual guidance outside of you all the time. And that's why people watch stuff like tarot and go to church. They're looking for spiritual guidance. So coincidentally or not, all aligned, he comes out talking his bullshit. Joe Bart drops a video on his philosophy about people using religion as clickbait. The Silo comes out, which is the Buddhist High Master. He comes out and tells you how you can't even access these gates without a teacher. I say the same thing. So you can't put this on. You cannot fake this. And you can't, if you go in there messing with divination and shit like that without your, by yourself, you're the type of people we got to do exorcisms and shit for. Why? Because you went in there with bad intentions and you got exactly that. You got what you were looking for in an entity form. So we've been talking about all kinds of spiritual work and all kinds of workings with the spirit. Right before we came, while I was driving to go do my offering. And why did I do an offering? Well, I do them whenever I'm guided, but especially today because I was blessed. Whenever I'm blessed, I run to God to give an offering for what He's done for me. And whenever I need something, I run to God and I give an offering for what I need. And this particular one, I don't typically, new moons, you're about to be putting in new intentions. I don't really ask God for shit. I just let it be. I'm ready for the next wave of shit. But this time I actually asked Him for something. And that's, my own little prayers and wishes. But anyways, I was on my way to do that, and we were listening to Lumen Moon's fucking video. She was saying something about you've reached a shaman level. And my daughter was like, what does that mean? I was like, that's what I do. Someone that can speak with the spirit realm freely like I do. It's like, there's nobody that does what I do. They go into deep meditations and they do visualizations of trying to, capture the spirit and having imaginary conversations of what the spirit looks like and what the spirit would be guiding them to say based on their teachings of what the spirit is about. But nobody does what I do, where you're literally walking with the spirits all day, every day. And so how this works is, what I'm going to explain here is, I'd already explained this in my past videos, they're ascensions. They're higher levels of consciousness is how you access the spirit realm. And in essence, you have to leave your low vibrational, desires, needs, and wants. It's very difficult to reprogram yourself. The dolphin reprogramming patterning of your brain is, I don't use the terminology that's spread out across, all these fields, but I tell you, we got to do shadow work. And that's what we do, is we go in and we find the core of our problems, and we reestablish, alchemize them, as another word used. But we brainwash ourselves to see it in a higher perspective based on compassion, love, and healing. After you start brainwashing yourself for so long, you start viewing the whole world with compassion, love, and understanding. If you do not change the way that you think, then you can't change the way that you live. And nobody wants to accept that. They just want to think that, think they're smarter than someone. And that was that's pretty much what all of us had said. Joe Bart, fucking Guru, Silo, and myself. And I don't follow the Guru, but I'm sure he in India had a message similar, because we all pour from the same spirit realm. We're all guided to speak on the same message because we are messengers. Now, even though Joe Bart might be young in age,
he's like 22. He hasn't aged since he was 18.
Yeah, his skin might look young. This isn't his first life. All right? He has a higher consciousness than most people in general. So, yeah, he's part of the conversation because he doesn't think like you. You have to have a different wavelength, which is what we call higher vibration. And that's where you're thinking beyond the 3D realm and you're accessing 4D. I, myself, am a ninth dimensional being where I am one. Back with the oneness. What does that mean? Oh, God. Please don't make me pull out the book. Well, I guess. Give me a second. They're in all of these different books, but the Palladians described it best. There it is. It's in their glossary. Oh, that's exorcisms. That's not helpful. I mean, we could get back into that, too, because we had just started to touch basis on that. I went to call activation. The Christed presence in a form. And this is, okay, the Palladian workbook is transmitted messages between a scientist and aliens. You're like, what? Yeah, conscious conversations with other beings. All right, has she entered the full? No. You can tell that by the end because she's limited to what she can see. All right, so it's all has to start with your chakras, right? We talked about the astral planes. We talked about your astral body, multi-dimensional. No, none of that. The dimensions. Realms of consciousness delineated by vibrational frequency ranges and nature of form or absent of form. So I had pointed out in my earlier video, he sees things outside of, or he's, whatever. I don't want to get into him because I'm just going to tear him apart. The first dimension, a realm of pure minerals as containers for conscious, but devoid from their own conscious and self-awareness. What is that? Minerals. That's the earth. They don't see themselves as separate. You know what I mean? The trees and the plants and the rocks and the water. It doesn't see itself as its own identity. It's just part of. Yeah, it holds conscious. It holds the conscious of everything. Second dimension. Lower astral planes in which the conscious perceives themselves as all that exists, are oblivious to spirit, devoid of soul, and totally self-absorbed. This is you. You're not even third dimensional. Also, the realm of certain types of elementals that have no conscious but of their own, other than the directed by someone controlling force. Also contains underworld aspects of what is called the Bardos of Buddhism, also known as hell realms, realms of all plant species. Okay? And that's what I said. You guys are like two-dimensional in the sense of this is it. You're totally self-absorbed. You're from this is hell on earth. Hello. Alright, the physical world of the 3D corresponds with the astral planes and anchored in a linear time and space-based reality. Anything in this realm exists at a maximum of 9,000 vibrations per second. This is the realm in which human consciousness lives. That's mass consciousness. When I'm doing a collective reading, that's for all of you. You're on that level. Fourth dimension. Beings retain consciousness as feelings and thoughts based on feelings. Stop right there. How do you go from the third to the fourth dimension? It's going to take some of you lifetimes after lifetimes, and as I said in a video, it's a 20-centimeter ride from your fucking brain to your heart. When you stop thinking and start feeling and acting in your feelings instead of your thoughts, that's when you've ascended the conscious. There's no, it's the most basic science there ever was. You cannot access fourth degree, fourth dimensional, any other kind of spirit realm in your brainwave. Which is what? Pursuing nothing of this world. If you're just you're thinking about only this world and the things of this world, and you believe that this world is reality, then you can't even perceive the actual realities that lie upon this reality. This is the most... It's the sand it's the foundation of the other realities, in the sense of it's always shifting. It's the sand under the water. They're showing me the waves that come up on the... Yeah, that's exactly it. That's a perfect example. The shifting sand on the tide, right? So, thinking about it this way. The tide is filled with all kinds of layers of water, right? Then there's the sand. And as I always say, there's whale shit, and then there's fucking you, which would be the sand, and then you, which is 10 feet under in hell, as far as your mentalities, okay? Your perception of reality and whatnot. So in essence, the sand is always shifting. This reality is always shifting by the waters. What's the waters? Higher dimensions. There are people like myself and all creatives that have vision, all visionaries, that pull from these waters and create the sand that we walk on, the reality that you live in. Right? The clothes you wear was an idea that they pulled from a higher dimension. And where'd they get that idea? Because those clothes are already worn in another fucking dimension. They saw a vision of the future, so they perceive it as. But it's not. It's very much not. You guys think you're living in the future. You're living in the past of an altered reality. And that's where people get their inspiration for music and art and all of that. They access it when they're having an out of mind, an aha moment, right? Is where you get these visions. I'm not in the mind. My mind turned off, I would say in the first, I don't know, I could go back and look at those videos. It happened at Mother Cabrini's shrine. I think maybe the first 3 months of my awakening. It was before Christmas. I was all by myself by then. I started in September, so it was pretty fast. And that's because I was working through it so fast. As I always tell everyone, first off, it was all on the surface. All I had was my personality screaming at me of all kinds of pain and tragedy and anger and frustration about the world and what we lived in, and they didn't get along.
She's still toilet paper.
Hey, get out of there! Right? So I had to deal with all of these aspects of my personality that were raging to begin with. Right? So then as I started working through them, during that time, I made I don't think it's a mistake at all. I publicly announced that, who my twin flames were and what we were here to do. I made the fucking, I sent out the radar. Well, what came back? What was what sonar did I send back? Darkness. Darkness. So I ended up, I started a war. You know what I mean? People are like, that's not your twin flame. And we're talking 12, at least 10 very powerful men in the world. And then 12, the other 4. And then those guys. In the essence that people were like, no, you can't have them, and you're not this, and you're not that. So, they went meddling, and they started pushing darkness upon me in the sense of magic. And all that is to push to the surface. I'd already mastered dealing with it on the surface by then. And that's what I do. I teach you how to deal with it once it comes to the surface. And I show you how to push it to the surface. It's not really something you want to do. It's painful. But that's what Carl Jung says, is we go back and through the programming of our mind, the shadow, the dark night of your soul, because this is an extremely dark process of you going in through your mind and your emotions into the very darkest pits of your emotions and your memories. And you don't get to be like me without doing this type of shit, 5, 6, 7 times a day with Kobe waking you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You wipe your nose, try to take a breath, only to get hit with another memory. All triggered again, dude. I hate my life again. I want to die. How could this happen? I'm so filled with shame. Why do people treat me like this? Nobody loves me. I can't stand my life. I just want to die. How many times a day? 5, 6, 7, as many as he could give me. Starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, as soon as I open my eyes. Every reason to want to die. So I was looking for a reason to live. And then you learn through that, and you just kind of, along with that, you could just put that on me. But then I had my outside world where God was taking me on this unbelievable roller coaster of destruction and walking in faith and miracles and fairy dust that people couldn't see, which was nothing more than my feelings. It wasn't a voice in my head. It was a feeling in my heart. I went through all the fucking thoughts in my head. All I was guided is by the feelings, and that's where all these clear senses come in. Okay. Going back to this douchebag. You fucking douchebag. You're a fucking douchebag. Do you think for 1 minute that Oscar, the fucking tarot reader, is sitting there doing shadow work and crying about his childhood and how he's treated girls and how girls have treated him and how he's all alone and all of his mistakes and all of his shame and all of his embarrassment and the insecurities of his age and his body and the actual fact that he doesn't own anything, the lack of success and development in his life? Has any of these realities hit him yet? Has he overcome any of it? Could you see a motherfucker like this sitting around crying? No, he tells you he's sitting around fucking masturbating. You can't do this type of work, bro. You can't have these kind of experiences when you're caught in your mind and in your emotions. Because it's all about feeling. It's beyond, and that's what it says in the Bible over and over, beyond your understanding, beyond your comprehension, beyond what you can see, the unseen. All of my things, all of my gifts are feelings, bro. I mean, I can hear the Holy Spirits when they're talking and shit, but it's not outside, it's inside. It's not like I turn to be like, what'd you say? No, it's inside. Everything is inside because I'm connected with the oneness. Now, when you're going through this, no, you're looking outside of you for guidance and shit. And that's where I said is, and that's what the master, another ascending master said, is you can't do this without being guided. And you wouldn't have, I'm the girl that lived because I was guided by the Holy Spirit itself. I was guided by God himself. Do you know what I mean? And that's the truth, is I have a relationship with all of your gods, but they're not my gods. We are gods amongst men. Right, Jesus? I have always, and that has annoyed people since the beginning, I have always talked to Jesus as my brother. He has always been my brother from another mother, and I crack jokes and make people feel unbelievably uncomfortable about my relationship with the Christ. Flicker on that. A flick of the wrist. In the essence, that's a relationship. And that's what really irritates people, is when you have a relationship with God. They don't like that shit, because that's what they want. Well, let me tell you, want in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. Alright, going back to this. So, the fourth dimension are beings retaining consciousness as feelings and thoughts based on feelings. This dimension contains both dark and light polarities, and that's where you enter. Once you start working on your darkness, in essence, as I had explained to you, they call it the ascension, that you're ascending to the light, but you're descending into the light. You have to go through all your layers of darkness to get to the light. How many licks does it take to get to this? I'm hearing Lil Wayne in the lollipop. Hey, that came on earlier. Wheezy F baby. He's about to drop a bomb on that bitch ass. But it was the remix with Kanye. And I was like, dude, I had to turn to my daughter and I was like, you know, Kanye was epic. It just went to his head. Kanye was epic. Kanye was epic. That was a cool song. He said, you're not about to murder me. And that's what I told her. I was like, Wayne did collaborations to murder people's music. He owned every collaboration he ever did. You didn't come and collaborate with him. He came and shat on your song, bro. It was great. It was great. He said, you ain't about to murder me like you do these other rappers. It was good. It was good. I miss him. Yeah. We can resurrect him. When he gets out of this big-ass brain of his. Pinky in the brain over there. That's a good one, God. Alright, anyways. The light realms are made up of the city of light, and those who have reached a vibrational frequency between 9,000 and 12,000 vibrations per second. What does that mean? Your actual frequency of light inside of you is moving that fast. Faster than other people's light. And that's what it means about having a higher frequency, a higher vibration, but also being, you know, shining your light. People can sense it. You're literally giving off a vibe, bro. A high vibe. You're giving off electricity. I tell you that all the time, fuckers. Alright, the conscious here is the first stage of the Christ consciousness following ascension. And that's it. You have to be Christed to go any further, dude. It took me like all this time to get into the Buddhahood. Really? I mean, yeah, pretty much. In the sense of I had already mastered it by the time I speak of it. So that's not true. It didn't take me all those years. It took me all those years to remaster it. And I was mastering multiple lives. As I say, is the wheel of life. I'm putting on other skins. And I'm Robloxing the shit out of this shit, bro. I'm like changing skins and running in different rooms. Fucking, you know what I mean? Grabbing my bag, getting my lesson, killing the bad guys, and I'm off to another one, bro. And another one. Yeah, I guess. I don't know what else people are playing nowadays. Alright, anyways, many guides, angels, and ascending masters impulse the third dimension humans who are receptive and available for spiritual growth and evolution. Humans are also impulsed by the dark astral counterparts that exist in this dimension. And there's me, and there's this douchebag. He's feeding into the dark ones. Why? Because he's not... That's what I told you happens. If you don't face your demons, they become an outside demon that only feed off of your demons. Now, when you face your demons and you alchemize them in light, what happens? They become the light, and you become more powerful in the light. You can't be the most powerful in the dark, loser. Why? Because light always triumphs the dark. Loser. The dark ones are able to match the lower vibrational frequencies of negative thoughts, vices, repressed emotions, unhealed, denied shadow sides of the human. And that's him always praising the devil card. Oh, obsessive, obsessive, obsessive. Bro, he's always telling you to feed into it and how it's, it's your primordial force and this and that. Bro, that's what it is. It's acknowledging your shadow, but overcoming it, bro. Not becoming it like Russ and being a 30-year-old fucking 11-year-old out here. Or you, Kanye, or any of you. You don't give into your shadow and become a shadow version of yourself. You use self-discipline and training. Lots of spiritual training to overcome the mind. You don't just give into its impulses, you loser. Do you know why he keeps shaving his face? Because he's old. You are no closer to getting married than the rest of us. You are such dirt. You're going to tolerate some fucking trash-ass girl that makes you look good on paper. But you're going to sacrifice, you know what I mean? The possibility of love for ego. And that's that Sagittarius video. The ego is this. And the ego, his fucking ego flared up. And that's that same video today. I couldn't even take it, dude. Him talking about his spiritual practices. Bro, you are a fucking whole fucking human in your shadows. As humans develop higher vibrational qualities of being, thinking, feeling, and doing, as well as transcend karmic tendencies of their own shadow sides, they are magnetized into the fourth dimensional light impulses and pull free from the dark control of parasitic beings like yourself. I have exorcised the demons. I just gotta say that. That's what you do, bro. Or you don't. You give into them like this douchebag. And you start dating 20-year-old fucking... whatever they are. You start regressing instead of progressing. Example, A, B, and C. Do you guys see Kanye West? I'm looking for him. Turn on the lights. What the fuck happened to him? Shadows, bro. He started to step into the light. Go back. What happened to Kanye? He saw God, bro. God spoke to him and gave him a calling on his life. Told him to build churches, sing gospel music, change the world. Yeah. Kanye couldn't do it because in order to do it, he had to face his karmic lessons. He had to walk away. He had to leave that life. God gave him it, and he tried to hold on to 2 lives, and he lost all life. There's only one life that Kanye can live. If he wants to, have a fulfilling life, he has to turn back to God. He has to be God's servant, as God called him to be. Why? God made him that powerful for that reason. And that goes back to the rest of my twin flames. He made you powerful so that he could use you to exert his power and glory upon the people. In essence, you get a little bit of the respect and, all of that goodness, but it's not about that. It's about making your suffering make sense. And not like Russ, who's trying to make views and monetize it. It's about making it make your suffering can be a world healing. That it can stop with you. That's the calling, bro. But yeah, that's what happened. Once you go to the closer you get to the light, your darkness stands in front of you, which is your fears, your shames, your shadows, bro. The closer I get to a man, the more all my pain and shame and blame and embarrassment and fears comes up. You take one step forward only to have to take 10 steps back and reevaluate everything that's standing still in front of you as far as your healing. And then you start to feel like you're never going to make it there. There's so much wrong with me. And when you realize it's not anything wrong with you, but there's so much hidden inside of what the world has shown you. When you realize that you're literally taking and reprogramming the zeros and ones in your head from every experience you ever experienced. It's a life's work. It took Carl Jung 6 years. They thought he had gone crazy, but he had to really go crazy to put it all together. He had to pull the brain apart, thought by thought, feeling by feeling. And that's what I teach you guys to do. Get ready. We're going to do it again on a Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. What the fuck do you want now, God? What does he want? Sacrifices. He wants sacrifices. Sacrifices equal rewards, just like that offering I did. You give this to God in the understanding that he's going to give it back to you times 10. You give it because it's no longer serving you. You give it because you have faith that he wants it and he wants something better for you. You give it freely, and it's not that easy. I'll be kicking and crying and screaming, fine, fuck you, God, fine, take it. Just fucking take it. Just fucking take it. Can't take it. Once you start doing that, bro, and that's what I say, where did this happen? That's it, bro. I just woke up, bro. There's a man that I read about the Melchizedek order. He woke up at 33. He starts taking this weird fairy dust. I call it fairy dust at this point. This fairy dust fucking mission where he's just following the Holy Spirit. He finds another weirdo along it too that was like, Melchizedek told me to meet you here. What? Yeah, long story. Exactly. Fairy dust. In the essence, it happened to him. I can't tell you when it'll happen to you. I guess when you accept that voice that's going off. And that's what it was. It's like when you start paying attention, when you become aware. Alright, so that's how you become, higher vibrational, is just overcoming it. Let me say it again. This dimension, okay, wait. I went to the 5th. No, we were in the 4th. You're going too fast. Let's see. Humans develop higher vibrational qualities of being, thinking, feeling, and doing, as well as transcending the karmic tendencies of their own shadow side. They are magnetized to the 4th dimensional light impulses and pull free from the dark controls of parasitic beings. And that's where you just cut ties. You're not even attracted, and I shared that either, you're not even attracted to the same things that you were attracted to that brought you down. The dark polarities of this realm is also one of the places where nightmares and astral abuse take place. And I told him, I was so blown away. I could put it in words now, what he was doing. I couldn't even tell you what I saw him doing. I was like, I had to run to Marshall. I had to literally open up a pathway in 3D for me to conversate with him to tell him what this guy was doing. And that's what I told him. He's energy raping, dude, and he's literally doing it through women's pussies. He said, seriously? Yeah, I told him that today. I was like, dude, he's trying so hard to get into my energy. He has a full understanding of where the woman's energy comes from. He wants my pussy so that he can manifest off it. He doesn't want it to see how it feels. He doesn't want it to have a baby. He doesn't even, to be honest, he's probably a butt fucker, to be honest, because he goes through so much pussy. It's not even enjoyment, dude. He's fully focused on planting a seed, bro. But it's not a baby, that's for sure. He literally has to use women. He has to use and abuse them through their shadows and bring up their shadows, get them in their shadows to take their power, bro. And that's why he's got to flip his fucking, his Instagram all the time, turn it off. Every time he does a girl dirty, he has to turn it off. So that she can't contact him, to make her go away. He does this like you wouldn't believe, bro. He's a serial fucking energy rapist, but he does it by sex magic. So in essence, that's how I caught him. I topped in, I was like, I literally saw him masturbating. I was like, oh my god, bro. In the astral, I saw it. I just had a vision of him doing it. And I was like, oh no.
What, man can't push himself?
No, not to me. Not to where I can see you doing it. You're thinking so hard that you're literally tapping into my energy. Now we got a problem. We got a serious problem right now. You're doing too much. Right? And that's what he's trying to do, is he knows where women's power comes from. You know what I mean? He's trying to beat up the pussy, but not physically. Not physically. I mean, perhaps. In essence, so with that being said, you know, he's a warlock. Men that practice that, and that's where Jason Miller will tell you he's a practicing witch. Men that abuse the craft like he does to steal divine feminine energy like he does, you know, Jason Miller will tell you, I'm talking. Jason Miller will tell you that all of the energy comes from the divine feminine. As I posted earlier, you're raping divine feminine energy because you have none of your own. Because your own true divine feminine energy is nothing but dark. You're darker than the Lilith. You're a Lucifer. Ugh. You're not even Hades. Hades was so good. This is awful. In the essence, you live in the shadow side of it. You give into it. You're filled with all of this. And you're fake. You hide it. You don't, actually. It's very clear. You're not even a devil in disguise. You're very obvious in front of everyone about it. And that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in the astral realms. It's like, why are they doing this? What are their hopes and gains? He's not looking for love. But yet he's always looking for, what'd you say in my Sagittarius video? I'm looking for a fuck buddy.
What?
Someone to practice some sex magic on. Someone to use. I can't stand you, bro.
That's weird.
I know, he's dangerous. But that's okay, because I already told Marshall what's up. What's up? He's going to have erectile dysfunction and a serious STD. Where it's not going to even work. And when it does, it's not going to smell right. Oh, that's disgusting. Is that pus coming out of that? Ew. No, it's pre-cum. No, that's pus. Gross. Fifth dimension. The fifth dimension, also has dark and light polarities, and that's it. I can't walk through heaven and hell without I've already gone through hell. That's how the access to heaven is through hell. Your own hell. So in essence, there's nothing of the dark that, you know what I mean? I've already conquered my demons, and therefore all of hell works with me. I carry the light as I walk through hell. I'm just coming in there to pick up a piece of me and get the fuck and walk out of here. And there's no stopping me when I get in there. And I told you, I can totally walk in the light and the dark. Beings retaining their etherical form from the third and fourth dimension combined, but with refinement and freedom to alter these forms at will. And that's the shape-shifting ability. The light aspect of the realm contains most personal guides to humans, serving angels, many of the ascending masters, and members of the Great White Brotherhood, enacted schools of intermediate level, and the karmic board. And that's where I said, oh god, there's so many up there. Overlighting devas and guardian angels. From this dimension and up, it's possible to talk in terms of vibration per second, because it is beyond time and space limitation through interface with time and space reality at will. And that's where it's like, I can travel through any time and space at will. I don't stay in this reality. Right? Okay? And that's it. It's just a thought. It's just a thought to take me where I need to be. And that's where you don't think anymore. That's what I mean. You've mastered your brain where you direct your thoughts to where you want to go with them. You don't give in to the impulses. You don't let them take you on a ride of fairy tale bullshit. Oh, nobody likes me, and this is why they don't like me, and remember this person, and this, 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 and this. Yeah, that's you having absolutely no control of your mind and not working. The faster it goes, the less control you have. You have to slow it down and work by one at a time. And each of those thoughts take time to work through because they actually have a meaning behind them. You're just jumping. Your neurons are jumping from thought to thought. Why? Because you put too much caffeine or something. I'm not really sure. But you need to slow that motherfucker down so you can hear what it's saying and start telling it. You need to give it, you need to hear what's put in your programming and reprogram your programming. And that's taking it out one by one by one. And that's what I did. When I woke up, I had no control over my thoughts and my actions, my impulses. I had a personality disorder. Those personalities would be triggered by things that were going on outside of me. And as soon as that personality took over, we acted in that personality. I would just sit and watch them go. I couldn't control it. I could only try to clean it up. In the mornings would be when I had time to review what the fuck myself had done. And I'd send a lot of those forgive me messages in the mornings. I'm so sorry for what I'm so sorry I tried to tell you I was sick and this and that. I couldn't really, I was just trying to understand why they were acting that way. Why I was acting that way and what was making me act that way and why I was unstable. You know, and little by little I started working through all of them. And it's not little, by spending all day working on them, dude. All day. And finally, you know, the major trigger came out where the most hidden part of my shadow, which I called the beast, came out. This was the most dominating side of me, secret side of me that came out. And when it came out, and I was able to evaluate it and have love for it and respect it, then that was it. Because it didn't go away. After I let it out, I didn't put it away. And because it didn't go away, and it was the most powerful out of all of my other... Out of all of my other... no, I just have to pay it. Out of my other personalities, it was the most domineering. When it came out and stayed out, the other ones went into a state of chaos because they couldn't take control. This was the most controlling part of me, and now it was out to stay. And so there was a bunch of chaos in the essence of when it came out, it forced the other parts to submit. And then they all just kind of, the whole thing just kind of crumbled. It went quiet. It was an intense, I would say about 7 to 9 days after it came out. I couldn't control anything that was going on. Everything was going crazy. I went to Mother Cabrini's shrine and I cried, and then it just zero. I never had another thought or voice in my head again. I get feelings from the outside, and I try to explore where is this coming from, and when I follow this feeling, I can find the memory. But they're not in there. The conscious is completely quiet, bro. And that's those Jason Bourne moments. I don't know what I know, because I don't remember. It just turned off. But it didn't just turn off. I literally turned it off by working through it. All shit that's beyond science, bro. But yet still hidden in science that they don't study with people. Alright, so after all that, you know, and that's how you, like, the mind doesn't, if something pops in my mind, if I get a vision, right, or a thought, there's a difference. There's a thought generated by by what I was already taking in, some input, but then there's a vision that comes out of nowhere. They're very different. A thought and a vision are very different in what the information that's been given. A thought is something to work through. A vision is something to work at. And that's kind of where that goes. So as I say this, it's like, you know, we can travel through time and space by thought. And that's why I say you have to watch what you're thinking. If I think about something, it's going to create immediately because it's powered by the whole universe inside of me. I've used that force inside of me to power my thoughts. For example, this morning, it's so immediate, and that's why they call me a master manifester. If I truly want it, it happens immediately, right? So this morning I did my interview, and I made that video, and I did this interview, and I was like, you know, I had to do a site walk. I'm like, damn, if I'm gonna be outside, I'm gonna need some fucking sunscreen. Otherwise, I'm gonna turn black as night. Is what I said. Okay, so then I go to the food bank to go get my food to do my offering, and right there they have a couple of bottles of sunscreen that they're giving away. As I walk up, they're literally putting down a couple of them. You could grab one of those if you want. Right? Meaning I manifested. I wanted something. I thought it. and then it came to me. That's how deep it is. So that's why I have to keep my mind clear of any kind of negative thoughts, because it will happen. And that's what I said when I got pissed off at that guy the other day and I said I was going to send tornadoes at him. Yeah. I fell asleep and I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't work through that thought. I didn't put that thought to rest. I didn't let it go. I was still on that thought when I went to sleep. So that thought created while I was sleeping and caused devastation here in Colorado. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. But at the same time, I don't mean to hurt anybody else with my thoughts either. And that's why you have to be, you know what I mean? It's even down to the fire starter. I got to be very careful. And that's where God is judging you. We read that in Ezekiel last night, is he's judging you by your thoughts. What the fuck were you thinking? And that's what I told you today. What are their intentions and their motivations? What's the thought behind their movements? Why are they moving in such a way? And that's where you can tell, you know, that good and evil. There's no such thing as evil, but dark and light. They're working in the darker aspects, dude. They're out for dark. They're not out for anything light. They're hiding in the dark. They're dark. But they're all in the light about it. That's what's weird. All right, going back to it. I had to explain the thoughts. And that's what we just finished up. We just finished up Intro to Tarot, the whole swords. You have to understand how your thoughts work. I taught you that. I taught you the whole cups, how your feelings work. All right. The light aspect of this realm contains most of the personal guides to humans, serving angels, many of the ascending masters, members, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. From this dimension and up, it's possible to talk in terms of vibration. That's what we said. Oh, yeah, and we can interface with time and space reality at will. And that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to end the Intro to Tarot with your wands. How do you channel your will, your fire? You have to use your thoughts and your feelings and channel it through reality. This is also the dimension of actualized Christ and Buddha consciousness. Immediately after the completion of incarnation, ascension, and transition through the City of Lights in the fourth dimension, flying dreams as well as dreams of healing, higher experience, and teachings occur in this dimension. This is the dimensional causal plane relative to human manifesting. I'm getting a download. I can't speak. And that's where it is. It's like you can't, there's an interference in my energy. What is it? We're getting a message. I'm getting beam me up, Scott. What is it? Joe Bart. He doesn't have to be spiritual. He's just not of the flesh. So therefore,
He's agnostic.
Whatever that means.
It means he doesn't believe he can prove and can't prove he exists.
Fair enough. All right, so he's already accessed this, right? In the sense of flying dreams, as well as dreams of healing, higher experiences, and teaching occur in this dimension. He can access it. Why? Because he doesn't think through his own, you know what I mean, through the typical mind of a 22-year-old, 17-year-old, 18. He's not just like my kids. They're not chasing, well, no, he wants an iPhone 13 or some shit. That's pretty low dimensional, if you ask me. Three-dimensional. That's what I told him, too. The phones don't even work for over a year, bro, and you're terrible with a phone. Find another one. We're not doing an iPhone. That's stupid. It's just wanting to be like everyone else. That's what I mean, three-dimensional, wanting to be part of everything else. So, in the essence, he doesn't have to have gone through all of the shadow work, but he's already gone through the work of, breaking through his thought processes. And in essence, I'm pretty sure he met some shadow sides of himself that he didn't agree with. You know what I mean? Or he's about to. Welcome to the dark night of the soul. As well as dreams of healing, this and that. So that's where it comes to. It came to him. You can't say he's not on that dimension. When his teachings align with my teachings, align with the guru's teachings, align with the high, Buddha and Christ. Now, with him saying he's not part of it, he just doesn't know that he is, because he doesn't believe in the teachings. Well, you're a teacher. We don't feed into their teachings either. We teach them what we know. We don't believe everybody's teachings. We teach them what the truth in the teachings. And that's what that means is, he doesn't deny Christ. He just doesn't teach you the doctrine. You know what I mean? And that's where it is I'm not a part. I'm just not part of this bullshit. And that's where he is, neutral. All right, this is the dimensional causal plane relative to humans manifesting and creating in lower dimensional worlds during dream time. And that's it. Where does he get these ideas? These inspirations for what he's going to do for his next video? How can he always have a new idea for a video? He's being downloaded. And his videos are he is literally, the messages that he's teaching people about thinking differently in his perspective is the same thing that we're teaching, but he's teaching the digital world. I'm teaching the darkness. Guru over there is teaching in, you know, big ass fucking, you know, he's having big old fucking you get on my nerves, Guru. I give you platters and put you in a dress. You really get on my nerves with this shit. Both of you. All of you running around in dresses and shit. Do you have underwear? Jesus didn't wear underwear. Anyways, going back to it. He's out there doing, you know what I mean, mass teachings, hitting the masses, teaching enlightenment. The Buddhist is out there. He's out there hitting all of the, you know what I mean, the love and lighters. We're all on levels of it, dude. We are hitting it all, and it's all the same message. We're in our respective areas, you know what I mean, carrying these messages of, oh, that's a great idea. In the essence, it's a download. God gave me a plan, an idea for a video. He doesn't know it's God or his angels. He doesn't know where it's coming from, which is, you know, for someone like you, you could say the cosmic conscious. You can use those terminologies because you are of the, but then we still need a science guy. Bill Nye, the science guy. We need that guy too. Because we've got the philosopher, the witch, the guru. We're building we're simsing the shit out of this shit. In the essence, we're hitting all areas of life. And the teachers are just regular people teaching you the same teachings that are hitting all levels. This isn't the first time that we've aligned. We're all in alignment. We're just in our respective areas of our frequencies. He's speaking to the younger generations. He's speaking to these cultures. I'm speaking to the dark. Can you hear me now? You know what I mean? We're all speaking the same good shit, except for you that are out there lying. Motherfucking liars. In other words, it is where humans dream their lives into time and space reality, and then wake up and live out their dream. That's it. I have a dream. I have a vision, bro. I'm gonna work towards this idea. You're crazy. I know, but I've seen it, bro. And that's where it is. He smokes a joint and he's like, you know, it'd be a good video. That's gonna be a great video. I could totally see this playing out. He sees it. And then he takes another hit and he can literally see it unplaying. And then you know what else I could bring in? It all opens up. The manifestation opens up in front of him. All he has to do is be present. He's just a messenger. And though it's, you know what I mean, you think it's coming from his brain, it's his heart, how he feels about shit. He's like, well, let's think about it. You know what I feel? Listen to his videos. It's a lot about how he feels about shit. He'll tell you how he can get where you're thinking. And that's where that compassion and understanding and forgiveness. He has a lot. But then he gets to that point where he starts screaming, and I love his screaming voice because I do it too. It's like, ah, God, you fucking idiots. Like, all right, calm down. Just had to blow some steam. Okay. And he does it on his videos. I'm like, how do you do it less? Like, how do you, that's mastering it. Not getting so triggered by every fucking idiot that you come across. You know what I mean? And he's, you know, and that's what it is it's not age. Age is just a number. Because, you know, that's what's really funny is you go listen to the guru. He was in the 30s listening to the Beatles, and all of a sudden he had this spiritual enlightenment. And he didn't even believe in his customs or culture's spiritual ways. I mean, he grew up in it, but it's like, you know, he didn't fully reject it. He just didn't practice the shit, even though it was all around him. And he's like, oh my God, I'm having an awakening. And everybody's like coming to him and bringing him babies. And he's like, dude, I just need to get away for a minute. This was not in my life. What just happened? He'll tell you the whole story. I can't tell you, you know, I haven't fully heard the Silo story, but he has a story. He was from Vietnam, and he went all different places and obviously turned against his, you know, religion and upbringing to become a Buddhist. You know what I mean? Or maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't know. Moving on. And that's where it is. It's in other worlds it is where humans dream their lives into time and space reality and then wake up and live their dreams out. Higher conscious, lucid dreaming, white magic happens here. The dark polarities consist of the dark lords of the black magic and control. I showed you all of the dark lords and I released them. There are dark angels, masters, sorcerers, and rulers of the dark or of the lower astral planes and underworlds in this realm. They have no power over me. Again, I am the goddess of hell, so I have already mastered all of these levels of hell that I take you through with Dante. We are always going through them. There's no master. I've mastered them, motherfuckers.
Sounds like you're a slave owner.
In the essence, if persons develop great psychic powers and mind control without developing the heart and spiritual integrity, this is where they ruled by and go during sleep and after leaving their human lives. All right, 6th dimension. I'm not going to read all of these. I'm going to read the 9th. Why? Because that's where I live. It's going to take you a long time to get there. The 9th dimension, the source point of the Latio Shekinah, the sacred pillar of fire, the pillar of light. It is the last dimension on which the light beings has the capacity to experience consciousness separate from the entire oversoul from whence it came, and can also choose to experience, okay, that's where I can go back to where I came from, before I ever existed in any human form. I go back there often, and that's where I sit. But I can also sit there and experience my other forms. This is where it is. The capacity to experience conscious separate from the entire oversoul, that's all the lives I've had, from whence it came when I first started, and also choose to experience the oversoul collective conscious at will, meaning any life I've had or all the life that is. And that's that cosmic conscious that they say, the oneness, where all life is poured in. I could live out Pac's life in there. I could live anybody's life in there. Everybody's life is poured into this soup, this cauldron of the conscious. We all go, we have an experience, we bring it back here. We all go, we have an experience, we bring it back here. We all go, we have an experience, we bring it back here. It's filled with everybody's experiences and knowledge and wisdom and expertise. And some people can get to a state of consciousness or a higher vibrational frequency where they can access life in its entirety. Where it starts, all of the levels of it, anybody that's ever lived it, and that's where, you know what I mean, I can access beings on other planets that are currently living or will live in the future as you perceive them, meaning they haven't took incarnation yet, but their life has already been played out and I can see it. It's already there, meaning they're already contracted to go live out a certain life and bring that information back. This is a dimension of Metatron's conscious. That would be him up there in the corner. When I was given an experience of this realm once, see, this person hasn't accessed it yet. They're still in the 3D. The only thing I could still differentiate from myself was the etherical crystals. I had a collection. Okay, this is how they tell their source. How does that work? I didn't know how to explain it at all. And it's typically where I stay, but once you go past that dimension of being, then you go into, I don't know how to explain this. It's beyond the form. And I was trying to explain it. It's like I sit on the edge of, it's all dark, but I can see everything. It's like a dark window, but it's not. In the essence, I'm not looking through eyes because I can see everything from all directions. And when I tried to describe that, they showed me as a star. A star in the middle of the sky. If it doesn't have eyes or ears and points one direction or the other, and just it can absorb from all different directions as a fragment of light, that means it can see all things of the dark outside of it. It's not like I have to turn around to see what's behind me because it's all in front of me. All of it. Okay, where is that? That's the 13th realm, and I don't understand why I can't find any of it, and all I can find out is that that's heaven, and why nobody's ever been there, other than the Ascending Masters. There's nobody out there but God's beings. It's outside of the cosmic conscious, it's outside of, where you reach other beings of other galaxies. It's outside of that. And that's where it goes back to, what is God? Light. That's all we all are. We're part of that light. It's just a light. First there was darkness, and then there was light. So, as much as that means is like you go through your darkness to find your light. Your pits of hell to find your light. That's how this all works. So, anyways, let's see. I was suddenly aware that I could still perceive the crystals as separate from me, although the furniture and people in the room had blended into my conscious completely. Okay, that's the ninth dimension, meaning they're inside with me. And that's where that blurriness is. Where am I? Where's my identity versus theirs?
You have a disease that makes you so you can't...
Can you stop, please? Thanks. I just want you to stop interrupting my reading. That's all I'm asking. I don't need the side notes. And that's where it is. It's like it's a oneness. Meaning I live in this body, and this is my body, but all of the universe lives within my body. And it's not like it goes from me to another entity talking, but that the universe is talking through me, to me, for me, but for you too. And that's where I stand back as a channeler, and it's like I watch my own videos because, yeah, I was there talking, but it wasn't always me talking. I'm just channeling it. And that's where there's this oneness. It's like Christ isn't in a separate part of my body where I access him, nor is anything else. It's all within my heart. There's this blendedness of, there's no division. We all live in here together. Not separate, but as one. But I am having my own separate experience. But I'm not, because I'm having this single experience with all of my other, as you would say, separate consciousnesses from other lives here experiencing this life with me. Are they separate parts of me? Aspects. Is Callie different from what I am? No, Callie is me. I am Callie. But I am not always in the Callie conscious. What consciousness am I typically in? What do we teach over here? Christ consciousness. So I shapeshift through all of my different, beings to learn the lessons and fulfill those karmic tendencies and, all of those things that I have to be in all of those different beings of what I was. Those aren't separate beings of me, it's me. Right? So, going back to the beginning, when I first took form from the light, he took me from light and put me in a human form. No, that's not how it works. That's how you don't understand this fragmentation of the light. We were all of the light. And he takes a fragment of the light, which is everything, all of us, right? And he puts it into the universe, right? So he makes the universe, and then he makes the planet. This planet Earth is made up of the universe. That means that all of the universe lays here within the sand, the dirt. It's the foundation of all the realities. He put it all into the dirt. From the dirt, two were made. Adam and Lilith. What happened? I think, if I had to guess, I knew too much. He didn't erase the memory. I came into knowing, I guess, to awoke. And later, you know what I mean? I think that's what happened is I was too awoke. I knew where I'd come from. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I didn't just take a form like all humans do where their memories are washed. I was awoke. I was fully aware of my divinity and that I was here to play this role. But I knew that if I played this role, I'd lose my divinity, so I didn't play the role. I went back to divinity. So now I'm here as Lilith, fully aware of my divinity, but playing the role. That's it. And even though I'm Lilith, meaning my first version that I ever was created, all I'm doing is reliving my first version. But I'm all of myself, all of the mastered levels of myself is still here, just reliving my first version. That's it. The life I denied. I didn't live out my karmic contract. I didn't live out that life. Lilith did not fulfill her destiny. Duh. But in essence, you know what I mean? You would say that, but it was always meant to be. Because what I did was, you know, time is time. It was always meant to be. If I wasn't supposed to do the things I did, then I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't. When you realize that this is all contracted. So in essence, what happens? If I go back to the beginning of time, and I change all of time, and that's where we're at. The end of time is just as a restart to the beginning. We change time by going back and fixing it. We change the future. We change the future by changing how we looked at the past. How we, you know what I mean? Because our past is what keeps us with this destructive future. Our past, right? So as I heal the Lilith, everything that Lilith touched throughout time is healed too. And so on and so forth. Meaning the Lilith and me. In a matter of time, I'll be famous, and everybody will have these teachings, and they'll heal their own Lilith from the beginning of time. And the crowd goes wild. But, you know, in essence, you're going to have to start with healing your own. So, let's see. The 10th dimension, I have been told, and that's it, she's never accessed it. This is all members of the original soul, oversoul families experience themselves as merged completely into one conscious and are no longer aware of their individualization at all. Beyond this point, I've been shown and told nothing except that the 13th dimension is a place of completion and oneness, in which the self is absorbed into all that is and knows nothing of separation. That's what I tried to explain to you. Okay. That was a big-ass, long-ass reading, a whole hour of it, and nothing about the animals. Let me explain this. Developing psychic abilities, magic stones, and that's where you learn to use the earth and the cosmic powers that were put in the earth. And that's where all this work comes with, you know, the elements. Astral projection, we're not doing that. Not today. Meditation. Come on. Sacred symbols. We're getting closer. Hold on. Invoking and banishing. Nope, we're not doing that. That's what they do. We don't do that. Pentacles. Ritual tools. Hold on. Here we go. Animal allies and familiars. Alright. As you start waking up, and as we are here on the 3D, you can't fully see the 4D and the 5D. You don't have the conscious. But guess what? They come in animal form. Many spirits have taken animal form. The natives and a lot of the aboriginals, you know, knew that these spirits, these animals, carried a Holy Spirit. And you could, you know, your interaction with this animal was to interact with the Holy Spirit. So as I went to go do my offering, the offering is for the Holy Spirits of the 3D realm. The 5D, the 4D, all of them, they cannot have the things of this world. But the spirit guides of this world, which would be the animals, may. So I go out to where the animals are. So I went to Cherry Creek Reservoir this time. That's where I was guided. I didn't, you know, wherever's closest to me and, you know, land and whatnot, because that's the land that's feeding me. Where I live, I'm feeding off of this land. This land is my land now. I'm in this land, and it's giving me new life, and it's, you know what I mean, this store, these stores, this is my new, you know, this is my new little get-up. These are my new people. This is it. So I tend to the spirit animals of this land that look over these people. Right? So yesterday, I went to go do my, was it today? Fuck, it was today. Time is just so irrelevant. Like, what day is it? I don't know. Tuesday, I guess. I went to drive to, you know, my site walk, and I stopped counting after 5. I'd seen 5 hawks on the way there and back. I stopped counting after 5. Really? Yeah, and I took a picture yesterday where I was guided, instead of to drive to the gas station, to walk. And when I got onto the main street, right there on the light post was a hawk. And I had to stand there and have this moment of just interaction with this hawk, while people are driving by looking at me stare at the sky, and then realizing it's a big-ass bird I'm staring at. I stopped counting at 5. Okay. Well, damn. The traditional witch familiar was and still is usually thought to be a physical entity such as a cat, particularly a black one, a toad, or a dog. However, it's merely like witches to have astral creatures as familiars or animal allies to help them with their magic. Then it goes on to the totems of the Native American culture. Wiccan is a European religion, and some connect with European shamanism, which is used in terms of animal allies. Celtic clans' totems are known for horse people. I'm getting sick. Hold on a second. My daughter's sick. She's been sick all day, and I think it just hit me. I got a hot flash, and then I felt like sick to my stomach. And already I didn't eat dinner. I didn't have an appetite. Fuck. It's just getting me sick. I felt it that fast. When you know your body, bro, you know. Ugh. What'd you feel? I don't know. I felt it, dude. I felt my stomach get funky, like I was gonna get sick to my stomach. And I felt my head get all funny. Brandon voices raven folk and people of the sheep. The clans displayed pelts of their totem animals on a pole or shield in their village. Blah, blah, blah. The familiars mean creatures, human or otherwise, from this physical world or other worlds that one frequently sees, experiences, and communicates with. Witches use familiars, primarily other-world ones, to act as their eyes and ears, discovering information in this world or other worlds. And that's it. That crow that's screaming at you, that's causing you to look at it, trying to get your attention. I know you don't speak its language, but it's giving you a download that you don't know later. Later you'll have an aha moment of something that came into you and it was given to you by that animal. The advantage of having an otherworld familiar is that since its body is not physical vibration, it can cross time and space. Yeah, then there's those. Shape-shifting, Egyptian pantheon, excellent examples of partial animal form. And that's it, the raven. While the Celtic deities, among others, are said to adapt at shape-shifting. And that's me, the Morgan. I'm the biggest shape-shifter. Mostly the crow, the wolf. Sorry, you see it? It's hitting me that fast. I can sense it before it hits me. It's like, oh, fuck, I'm about to get sick. That's some bullshit. Whatever. At least I have a day or two to take off, before I start a job. Anyways, let's see. Another reason for studying physical animals and befriending the same creatures in the other world, it is to tap into the otherworld energy so that you can use the power of shape-shifting and invisibility. I don't do all that shit. We're just going to go through this. Now, before I read this list, I'm going to show you a bunch of cards. Why? Because you're going to have images. I'm going to put images in your head. It's called visions, mofos. These are separate. I got these, I don't know, a long time ago. Right? So these are my animal spirits. Goose. We've had a lot of goose. That's a goose egg. Some goose feathers. We've had a lot of goose, which was protection. We've had a lot of protection over us. Why? Because this warlock is trying to sex me up. Douchebag. The raven, death. The wolf, freedom. I'm not even gonna read them. I'm just gonna show you. These are just some of them that I have, and then I'm gonna read from the book. Salmon. That's what I had to give out. Hey, bro, that's stupid. I gave them a can of Alaskan pink salmon. I opened the can. I had to take a can opener out there with me. I opened it, and it's filled with bones. How the fuck are you supposed to eat that shit? I told my daughter to find out some ways that we can create, something to do with salmons. I don't know. We have to, what the fuck? I don't know. I got a download about it. Rabbits. Raccoons. Okay, I can't do this. I'm going to go through real fast. Ready? Why? Because I have a lot of reading to do. How many of these have you seen? Do you understand that when they come to see you, it is spiritual? That God left, you with the animals? The crane. The heron. I love them. You will see, I pretty much have all of these. The eagle. The hawk. Sight. I have all these animals that have come to see me, and as they do, I always report, hey, you know what I saw today? We're going to have to look that up. I don't know what that means. All right, I'm going to run through them. The badger is an animal that is not often seen. It generally shuns areas of human habitation. It's extremely tenacious for its size. It will back into a hole where its attacker must come from one direction. From this position of power, the badger can easily face down adversaries that are much larger and stronger. This animal can help you to learn to fight for your right and spiritual ideas on page 111 and 113. 112 and 113. I'm not going to read all of them, dude. There's too many. You got the bat, the bear, the bee, the blackbird, the butterfly, the cat, the cattle, a cheetah, a cock or rooster, the crane, the crow, the deer, the dog or hound, dolphin or porpoise, a dragon, dragonfly, eagle, eel, elephant, falcon, fox, frog, the griffin, a hare or rabbit, the hawk, and I told you I've seen a bunch of them. Let's read the hawk. The sharp-eyed hawk is related to the falcon. Its symbolism is nearly identical of the falcon and the eagle. A solar bird, the hawk is associated with Horus and Ptah, the ancient Egypt, Apollo and Artemis in Greece, and Mirtha in Persia. In Celtic legend, it is a story of the greatest and wisest animal, the hawk of Arkil. Use the hawk to develop clear-sightedness, recall past lives, to overcome problems, and to make the right decisions. Then you got the hedgehog, the heron, the horse, the jaguar, the leopard, the lion, the lizard, the magpie. Always around me too. The magpie is a member of the crow family. In the east, this bird symbolizes joy and good fortune, while in the west it represents trouble and bad omens. Use the magpie's talent to learn divination. Then you have the mouse, the otter, the owl. I have my owl feathers in my Bible. Since the beginning of time, the owl has been associated with goddesses, wisdom, underworld deities, and prophecy. In Scotland, the word Cailleach, who am I? The Cailleach, which means owl, is the same as the name for the goddess of death. Learn from this bird how to interpret dreams, to prophecy, to unmask people who are trying to deceive you, to practice magic and shapeshifting, and to find hidden spiritual truths. You have the pig. You have the rat, the raven. Like the crow, the raven has long been considered the god and goddess of death, war, and underworld. And that's me. I'm the battle raven. Let's see. However, it represents one of the grades of initiation to Persia god Mithra. In Wales and Ireland, the word Bran means raven, and particularly associated with the Celtic deities such as Bran, or the blessed, Morgan, and Bab. The raven is the great help in learning divination and traveling through underworld during astral journeys. All right, the salmon. The salmon was considered sacred by the Celtic and Norse cultures. It is always associated with great wisdom, particularly spiritual wisdom. Call upon this fish to learn deeper meditation and divination. That's what I told my daughter. We need to learn how to eat more salmon or something. The scorpion, the snake, spiders, squirrel, swan, tiger, turtle, unicorn, the wolf. And that would be my wolf spirit. I don't get to just see them, bro. They give me something. They give me a totem to take with me, to keep this spirit with me always, bro. Truthfully, yeah, bro. The wolf. Like the dog, the wolf prefers companionship and will remain with a pack. Wolves are very intelligent and can lead you to the other world teacher when you need help. The wolf is also valuable when you need to outwit those who want to harm you and who seek the meaning of dreams, and when you desire protection and wisdom. Then you got the vultures, the whales, the wrens. Okay, this goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And this is out of the Wiccan, The Complete Craft by DJ Conway, author of Celtic Magic. Naturally, my last incarnation was the Morgan. I was of the Celtics, so I teach you a lot of that because it's still very fresh in my being. Okay. What'd you learn about spirituality today? You learned that you can't access spirituality without cleaning out your mind. You can't be of your mind in spirituality. It's not logical. You have to channel it through your mind, and that's where, as the High Priestess, you know, that's what I have to do. I have to tell you everything I see. I have to bring all of this from that realms, all these realms, and that's what it meant to be a Melchizedek order. You go up to the light just to bring it down through all the levels of darkness to make it a reality for other people. You know what I mean? Us having difficult conversations is creating new thoughts, new generations of understanding, new ways of life. Exposing people to, they're not new teachings, ancient teachings, is restoring ancient ways and getting you back on, you know what I mean, the ancient path. Instead of you, you know, trying to keep up with the Kardashians or, you know, whatever the next trend is. So yeah, and again, I'm going to just keep making this guy look foolish. He keeps challenging me. So yesterday he challenged me with the tarot, and he ended up looking like a fucking idiot. Today he challenged me with, you know, and that's why I sent him a message. I was like, you're making yourself look fucking stupid. He challenged me with his, you know, his dark practices. Bro, the only way this works is if you turn from the darkness and walk to the light, and you expose the darkness for what it is and what you've learned from it. You're not going to overpower me, bro. I have taken out cults bigger than you. You are a single practitioner. You ain't shit, bitch. You ain't shit, bitch. I've met the devil in the full form. And it's not even a devil. Lucifer I met in the fucking physical form, bro. Did a whole ceremony and set it free. I have a video to prove it. Put him in a fucking stone and laid him in the Garden of Eden. Right there next to Mother Cabrini, where she brings peace. Don't play with me, bro. Don't play with me. You tried to tell people you went to the Temple of Isis and did a ceremony? Fucking liar. You're a lying motherfucker, bro. I thought you were an Aries, not a Leo. I'm gonna ram you. In the essence, you challenge, and that's what she said in that video. They're challenging you. You want to challenge my spiritual gangster, bro? There's nothing more spiritual gangster than me. Do you think the silo, do you think that the Buddhist or the Hindu is going to take me on? They can't. Because in the Buddhist, I'm Kuan Yin, and in the Hindu, I'm Kali. He found that out within weeks. Vishnu and Krishna sent me straight to the guru to put him on track. And he tried. And he fucked around and found out. You don't fucking pray outside. Just because I look like an outsider, I told you who the fuck I was. You're talking to Kali Ma. You're not here for the things of this world. You better get back on your track. That's what I did to him. And that's it too. You think the silo doesn't know who I am? You think he doesn't see me in his dreams? He doesn't pray? And that's what I tell every religious factor. Pray to your God and ask him for the truth behind my words. Your spirit is screaming that she's real. Your spirit is commanding you to listen. It commands authority. Your flesh, your flesh really wants a piece of me. Your spirit knows that your flesh is going to die coming up against me. And I'm literally going to destroy your flesh. And your spirit is sending it up. And that's exactly what I told Marshall. I said, your higher self is walking you straight into hell for me. It's nobody else. It's your higher self. It is tired of you living this way. You have lived many lives only to come and waste it in this life. It is your higher self that is forcing you to wake up because it wants to live. It came here to finish its job. And it can't do that because you're in the way, which is what? Your low vibrational thinking is in the way of high vibrational works. True story. It's not a devil. It's your own demons that you have to face. And if not, you're going to end up like this guy. And once you do, and I try to warn you about that, once you start going into these realms, you're now in the dark and the light, and they can sense you. And they're coming for your light. How do you win? You keep fighting the darkness, bro. The more darkness you fight, the more light you become. But ultimately, no, they're going to just keep coming at them. You're going to have to fight them one at a time, dude. One at a time. One at a time. You either fucking consume them or they consume you. Which is what? Your thoughts and feelings. You either alchemize this shit or it's going to consume you. That shame, those secrets, that pain, all that suffering, all of that, and the rejection, the neglect, the mean things, the pain. Yeah, bro. It's coming. It's built up, bro, and you can't hold it down. and it's going to consume you. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up looking like Kanye, Russ, motherfucking Wolfman. And those are just male examples. The females, they don't even have light. I pointed those out in my tarot reads, what those bitches look like. The reverse queens. They can't be princesses because princesses are now about new beginnings. There's nothing new about these old hoes. They get it from their mama. It's passed down tradition. As I said, how does the conversation come with, you got to pay all my bills and shit? How's that work? How does that conversation come to play? So the terms and agreements of having my pussy is you pay for my bills. Wow. Giving over your power for the things of this world. How nice. This guy will do it. Russ's love language is Apple Pay, and he loves to give that cash away. For sure. Hey, with that being said, love yous, laters. I told you I'm getting a cold. I felt it that fast. It's coming over me. So I might not be up for some shit tomorrow, but it is Wednesday, and, we'll be telling speeches, so we'll give a speech tomorrow. Love yous, laters. Bye-bye. Hey, watch your thoughts. Seriously, just watch them. That's all you gotta do, people. Just watch them, and then work with them. Just watch them. Okay, bye.